everyone, welcome to It's Crochet O'Clock. My name is Stephanie and today we are going to be working on part 2 of the Rambling Rose Crochet Along by Pippin Poppycock. In the description box below you will find a link to Pippin Poppycock's website where you can download the written pattern if you would like to follow along with the written pattern. You'll also find a link to Pippin Poppycock's Facebook group where you can communicate with other people who are working on the crochet along with you. We're going to work through one of these roses. You're going to need to make 17 total for part 2 of the crochet along. This last round right here with the beads, that is optional. I have some of the beads out here. I did a blog post about the bead colors that I chose. I will link that in the description box for you as well. You are going to need a bead needle. This is just one that I picked up at Walmart. You're going to need a crochet hook, obviously. I am using a 4.5 crochet hook, and I am of course using Stylecraft Special DK for the project. Now before we get into this, I want to give you 2 tips, okay? The first tip is that if you are a tight crocheter like I am, these roses, don't do that. You have to actively think about not crocheting tightly, and I promise you will thank me for it. You'll understand once we get into this. You do not want to crochet tightly when you are working on these roses. The second tip is, let me flip this over for you. When we get to the end and we are weaving in our ends, of course we're going to be up here at the top. My first place where I would go would be right here at the bottom of these petals. That's not where you're going to want to go. You're going to want to make sure that your tails are long enough to where you can come down and go down into this area to weave in your ends, because if you weave in your ends up here, which is where I naturally want to go, you're going to run into issues next week, or if this is after the crochet along and you're watching this video, you're going to run into issues for part 3. We don't want that to happen, so please just make sure that you're not weaving in your ends up here, because that will make your life harder come next week or for part 3, okay? So let's get right into these roses. The foundation for the roses, you can either do a chain 4 and then slip stitch to the first chain to create a loop, or you can make a magic loop or a magic ring. I am a fan of the double magic ring. So what you're going to do is wrap your yarn around your fingers 3 times, insert your crochet hook under the first 2 loops, grab that 3rd loop. You're going to pull it up and twist. You'll see that it'll move freely. You're going to scoot around to the back here. And you're going to grab a hold of this working yarn and then pull it right through. And that is the double magic ring. I normally slip my ring finger into it just for stability. So for round 1, we are going to chain 1. That does not count as a stitch. We're going to place 8 single crochets into the magic ring. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now at this point you're going to pull up so you don't lose your work. Pull up that loop. And you see here we have these 2 strands. You're going to pull very, very gently on your tail. You don't want to just jerk on your tail, because if you do, then you risk breaking your yarn and that's going to make you unhappy. Nobody wants to be unhappy. So just pull on it slowly and watch over here to the left. And see how this top one right there is moving? So we're going to pull from the opposite side, and what that's going to do is it's going to close this loop over here first. Close that, and then you can pull on your tail and it pulls very, very easily. So you reinsert your hook without turning. There we go. And that is round 1. You are not going to slip stitch to this first stitch. I know that normally you would, and it's probably a habit, but don't slip stitch there. Okay, let's go for round 2. Okay, for round 2, we're just going to go straight into making 2 single crochets in each of the single crochets that we just started. Don't forget that that chain at the beginning does not count as a stitch, and if you get confused, just count backwards. We just did 8 single crochets, so this is 1 right here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's where you're going to want to place your hook. It can get a little bit confusing. That's okay, just count backwards. You'll be just fine. So 2 single crochets in each of these stitches. So there's 2 in that one. It's our second. Whoop, without losing your hook. Don't do that. Remember, we're doing 2 in each single crochet. So at the end of this round, we're going to end up with 16 single crochets. So that's what that looks like. Now what you're going to do is you are going to slip stitch to your first single crochet, and that completes round 2. Okay. To begin round 3, we are going to chain 1. That does not count as a stitch. Then we're going to place a single crochet in the next stitch, and then 3 double crochet in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3. Now a little word of advice: if you crochet tightly like I do, try very, very, very hard not to crochet tightly. You will see why in the next rounds. That is our repeat. We are going to do this for a total of 8 times, so we need to do this 7 more times. Single crochet in the next stitch, and then 3 double crochets in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet in the next stitch, and then 3 double crochet. Remember, work very hard not to crochet tightly. You will hate yourself. I promise. Single crochet, and then 3 double crochet. Well, single crochet, 3 double crochet. And single crochet, and 3 double crochet. single, and then 3 double crochet. So let's count our petals. We should have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope, one more. See, there's those 2 stitches. So single crochet, and then 3 double crochet. So now we have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so to finish off this round, we are going to slip stitch to that first single crochet, and that is round 3. For round 4, we are going to chain 1, and then we're going to turn our work. This part is going to be a little bit tricky, but once you get it, I promise it's really not all that hard. We're going to be looking for the center double crochet in any petal, well, the next petal over. So it's this petal right here. There's 1, 2, and 3. We're going to be working in this second one, the middle one. So I'm going to pull these stitches apart. They look kind of strange because it's the back side of it. That's okay. Hopefully you can see. So what you're going to be doing is we're going to be inserting our hook. Grab a darning needle here to show you. We're going to be inserting our hook into the back of the stitches. So we're going to place a single crochet right here. This is where Emma does it, but Emma's pretty flexible. And with this pattern, I can tell you that it doesn't matter if you do it in these 2 loops right here, or if you come down to the bottom where the stitch wraps right here. I find that it's more stable if you come down here to the bottom. Right there, it's where we first wrap our yarn around the previous row, right there at the bottom of that stitch. It doesn't matter if you do it here or if you do it up here. What matters is that you're consistent throughout the entire thing. You can't do one in the middle here and then the next one go down. No, no, no. Pick an alley, stay in it. Consistency matters. So I am going to be placing mine at the bottom down here, just because I find it easier. It doesn't change how it looks or anything like that. It just makes me feel safer about life. So you're going to insert your hook down there, and then we're going to single crochet, and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to hop over to the next petal, pull it apart a little bit so you can see, and then look for that middle double crochet and insert your hook. There we go. It's going to be a little bit tricky, but I promise you will get the hang of it. Chain 3, hop to the next petal, find that middle double crochet. There it is right there. Insert your hook and single crochet. Chain 3, hop to the next petal, and there we go, there it is. Single crochet. So we're going to continue this. That's the chain 3. We're going to work this all the way around 8 different times. You're only working in the back of that middle double crochet. Single crochet, chain 3, Don't do that. There we go. Single, chain 3. We're getting close. We're getting there. One, 2, 3. All right, and this is going to be our last one. Maybe, there we go. Single crochet, chain 3 one more time. Now to close off this round, we are going to slip stitch to the first chain 3 that we created. So that is what round 4 looks like. Let's move on to round 5. For round 5, we are going to chain 1, and then we're going to turn our work. Now we're going to be working on new petals, and we're going to be working in these chain spaces that we just created behind the other petals, our first petals here. So you might end up having to push your petals down in the front. That's okay. So first we're going to single crochet in that chain space, and then we're going to place 5 double crochets in that chain space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And remember, don't make these tight. If you're a tight crocheter, don't make those tight. So that's our first petal. Now in the next, we're going to single crochet and then chain, or not chain, we're going to place 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you're going to repeat this 6 more times, okay? You're going to make 8 more petals, and when you get back over here, you are going to slip stitch to that first single crochet that we created, and that will be the end of round 5. I will see you for round 6. For round 6, we are going to chain 2, and then we are going to turn our work. And just as we've done before, we're going to find the middle double crochet in this petal. So each petal is 5 double crochets. So we're going to find that middle double crochet, and there it is right there, and we're going to place a single crochet. If you can get your hook in there, there you go. And then we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So whereas the first time we did this, we chained 3, this time we're going to be chaining 5. Then you're just going to hop over to your next petal, find that middle double crochet, and then insert your hook and single crochet. You're going to do that a total of 8 times, just like we did the previous time. Go all the way around, chaining 5, single crochet, chaining 5, and then when you get back over here, you are going to slip stitch to this first chain 5 space, okay? And I will see you for round 7. For round 7, we are going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work back to the right side. Just as we've done these other petals, we are going to single crochet into this chain 5 space, then we're going to place 7 double crochets here. So the petals get bigger as we go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So there is 1 petal. We're going to jump to the next one, single crochet in the next chain 5 space, and then 7 double crochet. maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you're going to repeat this 6 more times all the way back around. When you get back around, you're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet that we made, and I will meet you back to show you what the finished rose looks like and to give you an optional beaded round for the last part of this rose. So this is what the rose looks like. I've woven in my ends, and now it's time to move on to the optional beaded row. But if you're not going to do the beads, then what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to make 17 of these. So you need 16 more of these, and then you will be finished for part 2 of the Rambling Rose shawl crochet along. But for those of you who are going to do the optional beading, it's time for some bead fun. I have some beads here. If you want to know the specific colors of beads that I got, in the description box below there will be a blog post that I did about these beads a couple weeks ago. You're going to need a beading needle. I got mine at Walmart. Emma actually sent me a very nice one, but they're so thin. I put it somewhere where I would not lose it, and of course I lost it because I hid it from myself. I did too good of a job. So I ran to Walmart and I grabbed a couple sets of these. It's not the same as Emma's. Emma's was much nicer, but hey, it works. So what you do is, for those of you who have never beaded anything before, we are going to need to get our yarn through this little eyelet right there. And this can be a little bit tricky sometimes, but once you get it on there, you're good. Watch me struggle, laugh as I struggle through the situation. It's okay, we're gonna make it. Come on, get through there. There's probably an easier way to do this, but you know, I like to struggle. Pull some of that yarn through so I don't lose it. And then you're just going to grab some beads. I am normally very, very OCD, but I was surprised when I was going through this process that I was okay with just choosing random colors. I did try my best not to get too many of the same color right next to each other, but I did okay. So you grab a couple beads like that and then you just pull them through. You pull down. Each rose takes 56 beads is what each rose takes. So what I did, because I was working a lot of roses at the same time, I actually worked all of my roses up to this point and then I beaded them all at the same time. So I just put a lot of beads on there because it's better to have too many than not have enough. So that is how you string beads on. Let me pull this off of here. Oh, and I pulled the wrong way because that's the way that my life goes. There you go. All right. So let me put this back in its container so I don't lose it as well. There we go. So there is that. I have a whole bunch of beads already pre-strung on here. But now I've created myself a rat nest because again, that's how my life goes. Just going to pull some of these up closer without making too much noise for you guys, hopefully. Created a rat's nest because that's how I do it. I'm going to pull some of these up to these other ones, and then we will get into beading. I find if I did them in groups of like 10 or 15, I'd move them closer to the top because it gets awful heavy because these beads are glass, so it gets super heavy, and it's close to where you're holding the yarn, so it makes it a little bit difficult. So that's about what I work with up at the top. So move that out of the way because I can see that becoming a disaster. So I'm going to make a slip knot, and I'm going to slip my hook on there. Okay, we're going to go to the back of the work, and what we are going to do is we are going to look for the single crochet. Now remember, on the front, whenever we were working petals, there was a single crochet, and then we worked 7 double crochets, okay? So you're going to hunt for that single crochet, and you are just going to slip stitch in there. That's how you're going to start it off, and we're going to do this from the wrong side. So we're going to work a single crochet, but it's a beaded single crochet. So you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, and then you are going to, come here, you're going to slip a bead, just one, slip a bead up there, and then complete your single crochet. This is what I was talking about. I would get just one little grouping there, and then insert your hook, pull up a loop, slide your bead up, yarn over, and pull through. You're going to do that in every single crochet, or every single double crochet rather, sorry. So you'll do that 7, slide that bead down, and now we are at the single crochet at the beginning. So here we are going to slip stitch, and then you will move on to the next double crochet and place a beaded single crochet there. And that's how you work the optional beaded round. That's what it looks like. Nope, I have to frog because I missed one. I slip stitched there. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, get in there. All right. So that is 6. I believe I should have been counting while I was doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, and then slip stitch. Goodness. Now single crochet in the top of the double crochet. That's better. So that's how you do the beads. So I'm going to finish off this round, and I will come back and show you what the completed rose looks like. And this is what the finished rose looks like. Isn't that so pretty? I love these roses, and I love the beads. I really, really do. So remember, you're going to be making 17 of these in total, and I will see you for part 3. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and make sure that you hit the thumbs up on this video if you liked it. I'll see you next time.